Hi, everyone. I'd like to do a shout out to our sponsor, Baco Diagnostics. Early detection is the single most important factor in improving patient outcomes. The Baco Diagnostics team recognizes how impactful a podiatric physician can be and remains committed to supporting you in your role as the first line of defense in diagnosing conditions of the lower extremity. Thanks to the unwavering support of their clients, Baco Diagnostics has been able to give back to the podiatric community for 16 years by providing podiatric educational resources and advocating for the position. Baco Diagnostics, helping podiatric physicians keep America on its feet. If you have not yet had the opportunity to utilize Baco Diagnostics services, get started today by sending an email to corporaterelations@bacodiagnostics.com. The first 50 podiatry offices who request a starter kit will receive a Dean's Chat mug. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dean's Chat, where we discuss all things podiatric medicine. And we really are going to be discussing all things podiatric medicine today. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Jensen. I'm the host of Dean's Chat. And once again, I am joined by my co-host, Dr. Joanna Richey. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Jeff. I'm really excited about today.
Oh, I'm super excited too. This is kind of new turf for us. Joe and I are introducing members of the American Society of Podiatric Medical Assistants. With us, we've got Michele Brandice, Cheryl Bailey, and Tara Brown. Joanna and I want to welcome all three of you to Dean's Chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You know, what I thought we'd do to kick it off is kind of go around and it will let you introduce yourself and where your home is, where you practice, and then we'll get into the organization as a whole and then a whole lot of questions about that. But if you don't mind, Michele, let's start with you.
Sure. I live and work in Charleston, South Carolina. I have been in podiatry for 13 years, and I do work for Physicians Foot Care, which is the largest still independently owned podiatric practice in the state of South Carolina. So I am a health information manager in that role. I joined the ASPMA about 8 years ago, and I have been on the board ever since in various roles. I am currently the scientific chairperson, so I am in charge of planning all of the content that goes into our conferences, and I often call upon DPMs for speakers and various vendors. So that is my role.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheryl, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and your situation.
Okay, I am from Holt, Michigan, and I work in the Lansing area and have been in podiatry almost 33 years as practice manager. And I joined the association in about 2003, and I took the certification exam and joined the board in 2016. I'm the current director of communications. And sorry, that's my phone in the background. And I am also the current president-elect. So I do everything that's like website related, CMEs loaded online, and we actually have some exciting thing I can tell you about later if you'd like of our new database.
Oh my, we're definitely going to hear about that. Well, so that's interesting because it seems like once you get involved at the association, you hang in there and you're not going
Yes.
anywhere anytime soon.
We're not going anywhere.
All right, sounds good. Tara, tell us a little bit about yourself and the practice you're with and where you're located.
I am located in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I have been in podiatry for almost 15 years. I work as a practice manager for Elite Tri-State Foot Care. We have an office in Old Bridge and in Brick, New Jersey. I actually joined the board the exact same time as Michele. We actually joined together, so that's kind of like my soul sister. We've kind of actually followed each other step by step. But I am the current president of the American Society of Podiatric Medical Assistants and the radiology chair. So I handle any of the certifications when it comes to assist for any radiology licensing.
Gosh, that's fabulous. So Joe, we truly do have the team here for the association. That's great.
Indeed.
So I will be, as Joe often says, I'll use a little I language. So I was in practice for 17 years, and I learned early on that the flow of my day, the quality of my day, and the treatment rendered in my practice went hand in hand with the quality of my medical assistants, and the ability. And the longer they were with you, the better they were. The patients got to know them. It seemed like it was just part and parcel. They're like an extension of the doctors. So there is no question that the American Society of Podiatric Medical Assistants brings a lot to the table in our field. And so we're excited to have you and ask you a whole bunch of questions. Joe, where do you want to start?
I would love to get some history on how did the society start? How many members do you have? Because is this a fairly new organization? So I'd love to start with that. And let's start with Tara, since you're the president, and then again we can engage all of you in discussions as we roll it out.
So the organization actually was founded in 1964. So we've actually been around for a while. We've been around for last year we celebrated our 60th year. So they called it our diamond year. So we celebrated it that year. We have been nationwide for that long. I don't know the exact date when we started doing the exams, but I definitely know it was Cheryl, you may be able to help me with this. Karen is our executive director, so that kind of was where I'm going to base it off.
It's been like at least 50 years, pretty close to that.
So we've been doing our exams for that long. We've actually had one exam, which was our clinical and administrative, and then in 2019 we actually separated it to have 3 exams, which is our clinical, our administrative, and our radiology exam. Depending on each state, of course, it does follow the podiatry licensing. So depending on what state you are, that will be based off what certificate or certification any assistant can get. I'm trying to think of what else about the organization.
How many members do you have?
Members, we have about 2,000.
No
That's
kidding.
fantastic.
And with those 3 certifications, and is there thought about expanding certifications? Because those are interesting. The clinical is one, right? And that could be immense. I mean, diabetic foot, post-op care, routine care. And then the administrative is obvious. I mean, to me, that's huge. And then the radiology one, that seems to me to be very state specific. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, yes, it is actually state specific. Not every state, of course, takes our radiology certification exam, but for the most part, most states does. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, you're in Arizona. We actually do offer our exam in Arizona. Pennsylvania is one of them. Michigan, Illinois,
Florida.
Those are the main big states. South Carolina, of course. I think we're starting to branch out into other states also, like New Mexico, Virginia, we already take West Virginia, but Kentucky, things like that. So we're working on that also.
Very good. You know, Joe, I didn't realize there were 2,000 members. And what do you do? What do you do to recruit members? And obviously, I know what you do to retain them. But it seems to me with 15,000 podiatrists, maybe we get more than 2,000 certified podiatric medical assistants. What are your thoughts on that?
That's the goal.
That's
the goal.
Right, that's why we're here, right?
We need them to hear us. Yeah, I think it all comes down to education. So our sole, pun intended, our sole purpose is really education. And we proudly host and partner with various state organizations, national organizations, local organizations, and we just deliver these conferences. We put together a lot of educational content for podiatric office staff. So some of the attendees are members of our organization and some are not. So during these conferences, we really try to, let them know that you're part of something really big. And this is a community that really could come together to enhance their careers, to help them to move on. I mean, we know people that have started as assistants and become podiatrists, right?
Oh my.
Wound care nurses, so we really try to foster that growth. So not only within their office, but then in their futures. But it's all about connection for us and education. And we desperately try to first have podiatrists understand the value of having an assistant that is certified. And, through our organization, we really do provide that support for them. We receive calls all day, every day. Just kind of troubleshooting or throwing things out there or, what can I do in my office? What can I do to assist my doctor? What are the laws? What's allowed? So we do field those types of questions all the time, but we really do pride ourselves on offering this accredited educational program wherever we are or wherever we're invited to.
Very good.
And we also want DPMs to understand that this isn't like an investment towards your assistants. And if you invest in your staff, they stay, right? They're happy, they stay, they want to continue learning. So that's really our other push is that we found a lot of DPMs do not know about us.
Right.
So we need to, broaden our horizons and let people know that we're out there. We can help facilitate, educate your assistants. So, I mean, we are very helpful. Like if people call us and they're like, hey, I have a billing question, or how do you guys manage this in your office? We respond as quick as we can because we do work during the day, but we try to let them know that they can come to us for virtually anything.
I love that. We have a fairly large reach. I mean, let's talk about this for a second. So, if I were to take a 30-second snippet and you had the opportunity to talk to a doctor anywhere in the country and tell them about the association and of a podiatric medical assistants, what would you tell them? And for example, how much does it cost to be part of it if one of their assistants wants to become a member? Michele, why don't you go first?
Sure. So we would definitely tell them to, invest in your staff. Podiatrists, I think, are kind of that group that they don't really have extensions to them. Most, some doctors have PAs or nurse practitioners, and podiatrists aren't always afforded that luxury. So the podiatric office assistant or the medical assistant is that person and can be that person. And we want them to know that they can just come to us, become a member, and I'll let Tara and Cheryl talk about membership and pricing and things like that. But become a member because the value in membership alone is worth it. And then, if they get certified, they really do get a great foundational education on podiatry from chiropody back in the day all the way through current. I mean, we take them through the entire gamut of podiatry. So, we really want them to invest, and we just want them to understand how important it is to just have someone, like you said, to make your day run smoothly, right? To anticipate what you'll need when you go into the room, to have office protocols so that you're not, stuck or fishing for something that you don't know where it is. Like you just need an extension. And we like to think that we train so well that you could have an extension to yourself in your office.
That's a great analogy. Cheryl, your elevator pitch for
So
the podiatric
I
medical assistants.
I would say that if you have them join the ASPMA and they get certified, they can be your best resource. If you invest in them, they will be your extension, they'll be your arm, they will know exactly what you're thinking, and fix problems that you didn't even know you had.
Oh, well said. Well said. Tara.
My biggest thing is the same thing as Michele and Cheryl. The one thing I would say is, how efficient do you want to be in your office? Do you want to spend time on doing the smaller things in your office, like the casting, the dressing changes, where you could be going into the room to see another patient that may be a wound care or something like that, where your assistant could be helping you out in that way and make your day as smooth as possible and to be able to anticipate your every need. My doctor always makes this analogy that she's the octopus and we're kind of like her tentacles. We kind of reach around for her. So that would be the best thing is If they join, I think they learn a wild range of everything in the office. They learn about the history of podiatry. They learn about where they can go in podiatry. I know when I started, I thought I didn't know what a podiatrist was.
Fair.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know what a podiatrist was, and I learned so much, and I learned there's a wide range of things I could do in the office, and I needed that investment from my doctor to say, you don't have to be a front desk receptionist. You can do a wide range. And I would say I didn't expect myself to be where I am now at this point.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would love to piggyback on that because working in a clinic, for sure, I will mirror exactly what Jeff said. My day is already set up to be successful or a little challenging if I have someone who has experience in podiatry. And every once in a while, we will have medical assistants that rotate through for, somebody's out sick, somebody's gone. And it is remarkable how much value my medical assistant, and I know this, right? But seeing that drastic comparison, and it's not a medical assistant's fault if they're not in podiatry, but we are so hands-on in the things that we do. And just as all three of you have commented on, that anticipation. I know this is what's going to come next. There's a lot of kind of strange things, right? You have someone comes in with a giant external fixator on, like that could be a little daunting for someone that has no experience about what is this thing that's attached to the foot. Wound care is like a whole nother section. So I would love to get some more information from you about the kind of educational and training resources that the society provides to your members. Well, sorry, let's start with Cheryl, and then we've started with a couple others. So we'll start with Cheryl.
Michele probably could start this first, actually,
Okay.
because of the conferences that she schedules.
Perfect. Let's go with Michele.
So everything we do is accredited. We offer a wide range of, we're trying to expand our online library of credits that can be given to assistants. So their certification has to happen every year. So we have to expand this library that we have online so that they can log on and get some credits that way. For the conferences, I tap into, we have our usual crew. We have physicians that just follow us everywhere. We have Baco, who's been with us forever. And we have Dr. Shira, who just adores us as an organization. We have Dr. Alper. We just have such a tremendous support team that we tap into them and we tap into their expertise. And we try to make it so well-rounded so that whether you are sitting there as an office manager or you're a front desk receptionist, you're a medical assistant, you're a wound care nurse, we try to make it so well-rounded that no matter which position you have in the office, you are going to get some sort of an education out of any one of our conferences. We touch on billing. So there's something for everyone. And we tap into those experts. Dr. Learman is someone who speaks for us all the time because, things are always changing. So when there's an issue with MIPS or there's a new, revelation that needs to come to light and be, downstream into all the offices, right? Because now you hear it from the top and then it's different in this state and it's different in that state. So you've got to tap into these professionals who really, really can get to the bottom of this and make sense of it. So we get our content from those experts. We take any doctor who is willing to share even a story. Assistants love to hear about interesting cases, right? So, we all have that one-off case or patient that we've had that had something so interesting, and it's such a learning experience. So we really just take the physicians, their experiences, their expertise, and we ask them to just bring that to a conference that we're putting on. And most of the time, they're very happy to do it. We tap into vendors. There's so much out there. There are always new products, right? Skin substitutes and new things coming on the market all of the time. Well, like a physician, same with the office staff. If you're stuck in an office all day long and you're not able to go out to a conference, or we have to get it to you somehow. So we're trying to offer more online so that if you can't get to a conference or, they're costly, we can offer it to you online. So there are ways that we can make education really available to the medical assistants. But that's really how we get our content. We just try to keep it relevant and keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And we offer free CMEs to any assistant that's certified. They're in our journal, which are also on our website. So they do them electronically. So they can get a lot of their credits just through us that do not cost them extra. And we also have on our website a list of several places that they can go to get additional free CMEs, because some assistants have to pay for their own things, like their recertification, their membership. And so they can't really afford to pay for extra CMEs. So we try to offer that as a way to help them and continue learning.
Yeah. And I think we're good at the interactive stuff. So we just started,
Yes.
not quite a podcast, but we did start Wind Down Wednesdays, where we just have our members log on. It's a Zoom call like this. They log on and we just kind of chat about current trends, maybe any issues that are going on, maybe some codes aren't getting paid in some regions. So we just try to kind of troubleshoot and be as interactive as possible, because we always want them to know that we're available to them.
Is that wind down or wine?
No, it's wine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Fine.
Wine. I was thinking wine as in WINE.
Yes.
Yeah,
not
wine.
WNE.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
all right, we're on
wine.
the same page.
Glass wine.
All right, no,
You
I'm
would
like,
be
Gotta
correct.
make it fun.
It could be the latter also.
I figured, yeah. It's
Wine.
oh my gosh, that is so fun. So, I had been in private practice and in a wound care center, and in our wound care center, time is of the essence, right? You have so many patients, and we were doing total contact casting, and we were putting on grafts, and we were putting on VACs. There's such an opportunity for education in those areas. One of my questions for you is the main thrust of the assistant program clinical, or are some people there just for the administrative part, or do people just purely show up for the radiology part, or is it all encompassing? Because I know there's a lot of crossover in all the practices.
I think it depends. But usually it's all three. Do we see more clinical? Yes. Depending on the state conference we're going to, like we're going to Iowa in October, they have a specific radiology.
Oh.
And most of the people that come and sign up are coming there for radiology. We do have the administrative, not so much. They like the more fun of getting down and dirty in the workshop. So you mentioned total contact cast. We've done that a couple of times. That's
Good.
always interesting. They actually like to get the saw and actually to cut it themselves.
Yep.
They like to do the wound care. They like to see the more clinical side, because even with being in administrative or in radiology, sometimes they don't get to see that side of in the office. So it's exciting for them to come in and see the gory. And even if it's after lunch, they don't care. They want to see the excitement. What does the doctor see? What do they see when they go into the OR? What do they see when it's the weird cases that come in? They get excited about when we talk about foreign bodies, and they hear about all of that. They like the administrative stuff, but they like the gore.
Yeah, that's like
best way to say it.
that's like a personality profile, because some people, like the accountants, they don't want to see any gore. They don't-
Right.
I think it's great. Yeah, Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm curious, do you guys have like a forum for job postings? Because again, if we're trying to hire someone, we're looking for a medical assistant. I would love to hire someone that has podiatric experience, but it can be hard to find. Is that something that you offer to your members?
So we actually do have a small section on our website at the moment. However, before, I'm not really sure, maybe last week of September, it's going to be totally revamped. And there's going to be a section that is just for if somebody wants to place an ad, or if somebody wants to actually look for someone that is already certified, they'll be able to find them in our database. So that will be a nice connection tool that we're going to have. And that's going to be soon. I'm kind of excited about that in our new database.
Yeah.
We all know that early detection is the most important determination in improving patient outcomes. Bako Diagnostics remains committed to supporting you in your role as the first line of defense in diagnosing lower extremity pathologies. Bako Diagnostics, helping podiatric physicians keep America on its feet. I wanted to ask you about dealing with specimens and, the role of medical assistants. But a segue into that would be, I want to do a little shout out to Bako Diagnostics. We all know that early detection is the most important determination in improving patient outcomes. Bako Diagnostics remains committed to supporting you as your role, both as doctors and assistants, right, as the first line of defense in diagnosing lower extremity pathologies. Bako Diagnostics helping podiatric physicians and assistants keep America on its feet. Baco's so good to our profession. I mean, they're so good to our students at the college. They come in and do biopsy workshops. They help our residency programs. They're helping doctors in private practice. They're one of the companies that really stands out in terms of giving back. So can you help us kind of describe what your role is with specimens? Perhaps Dr. Shear taught you a lot. I know that about taking biopsies and your role in doing that. Your thoughts? Maybe we could just go around and chat about that. Terry, you want to start?
Yeah. So our role, I more handle the paperwork side nowadays. But my staff, they actually handle taking they don't take the specimen, they don't do any of that, but they handle the specimen from making sure they log it, to make sure that when it gets sent out, they know exactly what day it got sent out, when it comes back, calling the patient to schedule to come back in, to go over the results. And that's important because they fill out the requisition form, and everything on that requisition form has to be correct for Bako to be able to actually process it correctly. So that's really in my office. I mean, they're a big help with that. It's one less thing off from the doctor. They leave the specimen on the table, and then they go in, they take everything, and then they finish it off for her.
Oh, that makes sense. Cheryl, your role.
So in our office, how it's done now with our newer system that we're using, the doctor pretty much orders it. So it's kind of cut out some of the admin for the assistant. So they basically have to label it and then just contact FedEx. And then we download and upload the results, which is fabulous. So that's helpful. It's a lot easier. But the lectures and the hands-on training that we have learned from Bako is fabulous. It's always fun. And Dr. Shear and the other people who lecture always teach us something great.
It's always amazing. Yeah, it's always amazing how you can take a specimen and send it off in FedEx and then get this beautiful report back with diagnosis and pathology recommendation. It's just fabulous. Michele, your experience with it's truly amazing.
Yeah.
Michele,
No, it is. It is amazing. The workshops have been just beyond amazing. We always get terrific reviews from Dr. Shearer's workshops. What I think is great about Dr. Shearer is that he's also very in tune to the billing codes. And, he puts out literature. He writes these little booklets and pamphlets that you can just at any conference go over to Baco's booth and you can pick up this amazing resource to have in your office that thoroughly explains, the correct billing codes. And I think that's a tremendous resource. We try to have those booklets in our lecture room during those Bako lectures because they're a huge hit. And it's great. It's a great resource for billers and the administrative staff. But yeah, he's always, letting the assistants know that you have to have, those patient identifiers on there, making sure that the specimen gets processed correctly. And he does it in such a way where I think everyone in the room retains it. He's just got such a magnetic personality that I think the way he presents it is great, and everyone kind of gets something out of it.
Well, he's so passionate about podiatry and biopsy techniques that he flies to Phoenix, Arizona in August to do a workshop. People don't like coming to Arizona in August.
I was just in Phoenix, Arizona in August, and I give him props because it was hot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I was going to ask about future meetings, so if there's docs listening to this and they want their assistants to be involved, or if there's assistants that want to participate in future meetings, what does your calendar look like?
So we are doing about 8 conferences a year. That
Really?
means the three of us on this call are always traveling somewhere.
Wow.
And luckily, we have employers, DPMs, that are extraordinarily supportive and understanding. So our next conference, and we put this out on our social media. We broadcast all of our upcoming conferences. We have it on our website, aspma.org. But our next conferences, we are doing Iowa in October, the 9th and 10th. And then we were invited by Denver to do a one-day assistants and nurses course that will be on October 17th. And then we're pretty much kind of slow down for the rest of the year. The third quarter or the fourth quarter of every year is usually our slowest time. But we are always at the Midwest Conference in Chicago, either in March or April every single year. We are at APMA National every single year. So those are a given. We always have those conferences going on. Let's see, where else do we go? We do Region 3 in Atlantic City every May. So you can always find us there. We're basically everywhere and anywhere that someone wants to give us a platform to spread some education.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fabulous. I lectured at the Colorado meeting last year. That is a fabulous meeting, a great venue, and the docs there
Well,
are
if you're
wonderful.
going again this year, just let me know and you can lecture again.
I would be happy to join you guys and give a couple talks, around things like wound care or diabetic foot care or total contact casting anytime. I'm not going to be in Colorado this year, though. I have a conflict.
Okay.
But I'll take you up on the future, though.
I'll catch you next year.
All right. And it sounds like a plan. Okay, that's great. Joe, I was gonna just do some shameless plugs. We want to know how much it costs to become a member. Or what's the story on that?
So to become a member, it's $120
Okay.
to get started, and then for each year you have to renew, and it's the same $120 unless there is a price change, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon. To become certified, each exam is $400.
Okay.
It does include the study guide and the actual exam. This is all study at your own pace, so self-paced. So they take the exam online. We do offer it at a couple of conferences. So we offer it at the Midwest Podiatry Conference, National, at Region 3, and maybe, possibly, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe Arizona next year. So, and again, what Michele said, wherever somebody wants us to give the exam, we are happy to come there. We do a review course there. And it's the same $400. They just get the added bonus of having us there to access any questions for a full 8 hours. So we want to cater to the assistants, and we want to see them grow. We don't want to see them fail in any type of way. So they have the choice of picking, or they become dual certified, or they can take all 3 certifications. It is up to them. And then each year they do need to recertify. That is $70. And then depending on what certification you have, they may need to get 20 credits or up to 40 credits.
Oh, very good. Very good. There's a lot of teeth behind this, Joe. We need medical assistants at our clinic at the Arizona College if you guys want to come to Phoenix.
Sure.
That's why I was asking about job postings, because we would love to fill a position with someone that has podiatric experience. It would be amazing.
I have a question for you. Do you tap into medical assistants at the front end? Like, there's a lot of medical assistant programs around the country, right? Do you ever go into them and say, hey, why don't you add our podiatric certifications to your already robust medical assistant training? To me, that'd be really cool, because somebody would come out and they'd be snapped up by podiatry practices in a heartbeat, right? I don't know, just a
Good
thought.
idea. That's a good thought.
Something to think about, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd love to piggyback on that. When a lot of our podcast is focused around young members, students, residents, young faculty, what advice would you give to a young new medical assistant wanting to come into this podiatric world? Because again, to your point, a lot of people don't know what podiatry is, us included, right? So what advice would you give someone?
I would tell
I think it's an
somebody to-
amazing specialty.
Sorry, see, I
Sorry,
did the
Cheryl.
thing. I didn't
Go
start
ahead.
with
Go
somebody.
ahead, Michele.
I mean, I just think it's an amazing specialty. There are so many avenues in podiatry that I think, if someone's interested in any kind of nursing, like wound care nursing, podiatry is a great field to get into. Even limited radiology, if you're interested in x-rays, an x-ray certification in a podiatric office is huge. You could spend the whole day doing x-rays.
Yeah.
So there are really a lot of avenues to explore. And I would really encourage, I mean, I'm a little biased because I've been in podiatry so long, and it's a fantastic field. So, yeah, I think it's a great specialty, and I would definitely encourage young medical assistants who are generalized to go toward podiatry. I just think it's wildly fascinating and interesting, and it's not just the foot. I think a lot of people mistake the scope of practice for the whole specialty, and it's not just the foot. There are so many body systems involved with podiatric medicine that you really are treating the whole body. So yeah, I think it's a great avenue.
I would tell them to be ready to learn, because podiatry is one of the fields that MAs have a lot more hands-on than any other field. And be open to learn and be willing to learn, because you can go really far if you just learn and know what your doctor wants, anticipate. Your patients will then come to you to ask you things, even though you can't really tell them anything, but you can guide them depending on what your doctor said. So just be open to learn, because you'll see a lot. You could see a self-amputated toe right in the office. I mean, it happens, and you got to be not grossed out about it. You got to be intrigued, like, oh, wow, that was pretty cool. Did that hurt? No? Okay. So you got to be open to things, to seeing all sorts of things that you never thought you were going to.
Same as both of them. Just to add on to it is be ready for excitement. Because there's so many avenues to go into and so much to learn. You'll be able to kind of get real growth. From me, again, I'm biased. I just feel like there's more growth in podiatry than any other specialty in medicine, just because you can go to one podiatrist and they do one thing one way, and you can go to the podiatrist down the street and they do a totally different thing, and they end up with the same result. It's just how they maneuver. And I think that's the excitement of it, and just being able to really grow your own career and grow within yourself also.
I love that. So I heard a couple things I want to reflect back, because I think they're really, it's the same things that we tell students too. This opportunity for growth is like, I remember being the thing I was the most afraid of was being bored in a job when I was younger. And I am definitely not bored. There is zero room for boredom now, right? But that opportunity to be very hands-on, to be an literally an assistant. Like we're doing surgical procedures in the office, and my medical assistant is who I am leaning on. So I appreciate so much that, having, not everybody, it's not for everybody. And so again, if these are not things that you're interested in, by all means, maybe, explore something other than podiatry. But for those that are really interested in having that true hands-on opportunities for growth, really engaged, keeping people doing the things that they love, being active and on your feet, I mean, that's an incredibly rewarding career to be a part of. So I appreciate your perspective so much, because I definitely lean on my medical assistant. And it's funny when you say things like, well, whatever the doctor says, I listen to my medical assistant give, information appropriately, completely appropriately. And I want to just high five them and be like, you did that better than I would have done it, right? Like, it's incredible how much of a team we really are. And that's where when we lose a team member, it's devastating, because it's so much of what I do is better because of my medical assistant. Jeff, your thoughts?
Oh, I agree. And the breadth or the different areas that you can be an expert in is always fascinating to me. So at the risk of putting each of you on the spot, they always say that you're an expert in something if you can get up and talk for 10 minutes off the top of your head about it. For each of you, what aspect of podiatric medicine would you get up and talk in front of a group with 10 minutes without any notes? Cheryl.
The importance of diabetic foot care.
Ooh,
I would
beautiful.
probably talk about that.
Just right off the top of your head. I love it.
Yep, right off the top of my head.
Very good. Tara.
Off the top of my head, probably it would be two things. So practice management and anything biomechanics.
Gosh, I love that. Okay. And Michele.
I would say DME, specifically DME audits.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, it's
So
always a
those three
hot
answers were, they're similar, but they're different, right? So, I mean, gosh, it just goes to show you the different areas that we can be experts in. And a lot of facets go into running a practice, and medical assistants are just so important to everything about the podiatric practice. So thank you so much. Joe, any last words?
I have one final question. Misconceptions. We get a lot of misconceptions about like what people don't know what podiatry is. But then the flip side is people that think that they know what podiatry is. What misconceptions do you feel the podiatric medical assistants have or hear, and which ones would you want to dispel? And we'll start with let's start with Cheryl again.
Goodness. Well, one is when they first start, I don't think they realize again that they're treating the whole body. So like when you're taking a patient back and you're doing an entire workup, you have to explain to the patient why, and the assistant when they're new, why we need to know your medications, your past medical history, because your feet are attached. So we need to treat the entire body. So that's probably the first thing is they think that one, you guys are the podiatrists are glorified pedicurists. So you have to explain that's not really what we do. So that would probably be my number one.
Excellent. Tara, what about you?
Mine's would be that they're just the front desk person or they're just the assistant. They're way more than that. The person, like Cheryl said, you are the person that gets all the information. So while you're sitting at the front desk, you need to make sure you get all of the paperwork correct. Get their insurance information. You are connecting with them. You're the face of the practice. You're the person who answers the phone. You are what start and end the visit. And for the front and back office assistants, when you go into the room and you're taking that history, they're willing to talk to you more because they have more rapport with you. They feel more comfortable with you. That's important because we all know once the doctor goes in, you ask a question, they're like, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. No, I wore the boot all week. I don't know what you're talking about. But then you look at it and it's dirty and you're like, I know for a fact. But they're willing to tell the assistant. So I think the misconception is that they're not important. And for me, I think they're the most important against the podiatrist.
Yeah.
I agree with Tara. I think the role is sorely downplayed. And I think that you have to educate an assistant on the DPM first. So a lot of times, and we hear this all the time, oh, they're not real doctors, they didn't. And we have to always correct people and say that they are not only physicians, they are surgeons. They are trained as physicians and they are trained as surgeons. So that kind of helps them with their importance as well. Like, oh, I'm working for a surgeon. It sounds different and it feels different when you tell them that they're working for a surgeon. But I also think that they feel that their role is menial sometimes, but I think it just depends on what they're doing. Maybe they're not doing enough. So I see in our practice, a lot of times we have a podorthic department. So we have 5 podorthists that work for us. So if you're grossed out by the gory stuff, learn shoe fittings. learn how to get patients back to what they love to do, and that's walking. It's a basic function of life, and you don't realize how much of a difference you're making, even as a medical assistant, when you can fit someone with a good orthotic or a pair of diabetic shoes and watch the way they walk out of the office as compared to the way they walked in the office. So it gives them a sense of pride, and I think that changes the narrative of the medical assistant.
I love that. And I'm sure that that also has some direct correlations with job satisfaction. When you see the impact that you make on the quality of life for people, I mean, that's why we do what we do, right?
Right.
I love that.
And it resonates with things we're talking about in the profession around branding the profession and sharing with the public the wonderful things that podiatrists do and the medical assistants do. I mean, what you said just resonated so much. So thank you very much. I want to thank all three of you for taking time. I know it's late on the East Coast. Thank you so much for joining us on Dean's Chat and all you do for your patients and the doctors you work with. We look forward to having you back and another time. We can continue this discussion for sure.
We would love that. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
You are so welcome. Any last words, Joe?
No, thank you so much. Your time has been absolutely fantastic to share with us so generously on a Wednesday. And we look forward to more conversations.
Sounds
And-
good.
Great, thank you.
Tara,
Thank
Michelle,
you.
and Cheryl, we're going to send you a Dean's Chat cup. And
Oh,
Nice.
I've got
you.
some that have Baco on it, and I'm going to send that with you also.
love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, you know,
Thank you.
it's that way, as we all like to say what Dr. Arrett coined, you can start your day the Dean's Chat way. There you go.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, to all of
Thank
our
you.
listeners out there, you're welcome. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please give us a 5-star rating and leave a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, by all means, become a subscriber. Joe and I will continue to bring leaders in our podiatric profession, as well as organizations in our profession that make a difference in patient care. And appreciate all you do. Thank you again. And we look forward to having you back on Dean's Chat in the future. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.